Well, it's a long story. Originally, the group got together via like a hobby for doing visualizations and so forth, but many of us were interested in games. So, kind of when the indie game market became kind of more accessible with the iPhone and so forth, we kind of switched the focus more for games. But right from the beginning, we also wanted to explore kind of applying lessons from game design and using game technologies for like outside games. So that's what we started doing back in 2008. So, yeah, in the history we have done so. So originally we started so that we had some game ideas and we made actual like game products, like normal entertainment games. But at the same time we were doing projects for customers, which were kind of learning environments and some like virtual art galleries and some science exhibition things, and then also some like city visualizations and so forth. But those were all just customer projects and to get some income to develop the games. So back then we did both. Now we have kind of switched it to like completely opposite. So now we focus on making like a business product, and we are actually not developing entertainment games anymore. And we are also not doing subcontracting or projects or anything. We just focus on this. Well, when we did them for customers and subcontracting, it was usually like the customer had some kind of idea and need, but usually quite vague. So so then the idea was kind of brainstormed together with the customer, and we kind of took the responsibility of the kind of the game designer to think that and choose that okay, this could actually work. And then for this own product, that's kind of basically my idea that we have been developing them slowly over the years with the team and partners. Very much from the customers. So we now work with city planning and urban design and architecture, and it's also a weakness in our team that none of us has any background there, but we just figured this idea how we could use games in that area. So it actually has been very long and even kind of slow process during the past 5 years to kind of start learning the domain of city planning, for example. But still, like much of the real expertise is with the customers. So, for example, with the urban planning division at the city of Oulu here, and then then with the architect studios, with which we collaborate, and also these big kind of planning consultant companies, and yeah, we really learn a lot from them all the time, and then we just sort of try to apply the lessons from there in how we design the applications. So, but yeah, really much from the customers. Yeah, it varies a little bit. Sometimes they already have an idea that, hey, we would like to have this kind of tool. And then we go through it with them and think that how it could be actually made. And then we usually make like proposals, mock-ups, how the user interface would look like, and then like early prototypes and test versions. And then we meet with them. Sometimes we are in touch daily, that we update the builds and they test and give feedback. And so they're almost like a part of the team. That's even something that they have commented sometimes, that they feel that they are like a part of the team, and they have been happy about it. Sometimes when it's a more like a finished product that we already have, and then some customer just needs it, then it's kind of like more normal business, that okay, more formal, and we get some material and make contracts and we deliver. But when we are developing like new features and when the customer has new needs, then it's really close collaboration, and it's usually like that, actually. Well, right now we have some like tech funding, some like a risk loan for developing the product, so that has taken us somewhere. But otherwise we are just focusing on sales and so yeah, getting like income funding. We are also talking with investors, and many are quite interested, but it's kind of too early for like big real investments. So now we just focus on sales and try to get it from the paying customers. Yes, I think it's at least in our case it's completely different. Um, it's basically that in this series game thing, it's basically a B2B product, kind of like B2B2C, because the end product is for like normal people, kind of like a game, but the business is entirely that we make a contract or they license our technology, some big company or city, and we get perhaps like half of the money beforehand for the development and like finance of the project. Whereas in entertainment games it's totally different. That usually you just somehow have to make the game and put it to the market and then hope that people buy it, and perhaps you get funding from like some investor or something, but then it's completely different basically in our case. Well, at least in our domain, like many of the customers who like usually pay it, they're kind of big and slow, and for example, because we deal with construction projects, they have their own schedules. So it can be that okay, somebody's interested, but then it's like only after 6 months, when it's like when their project is in that kind of phase that they would need us. So yeah, that's of course difficult for us. That okay, how do we pay the developers for the half the year to wait for that? And I think it can be quite typical in serious games, like also in education, that the customers can perhaps be like big and slow. And if it's public money, like how the funding decisions go and all that, it's kind of a pain from a like small developer's point of view. One thing that we have been thinking of would be to somehow get closer to the consumer market still, even with our product to be just sort of use some of the same monetization than the entertainment games do. For example, if we could include advertisements in what we publish, it might be really interesting, because then it would be kind of like cheaper for the customers and easier for them, for some city, for example, and then we perhaps would get like kind of steady income flow, and it intrigues me because with the entertainment games, all that is so well developed that that in any game engine or with any SDK, you can quite easily kind of integrate monetization to the apps. So it could be interesting to have kind of these more game-like monetization things also in serious games. But otherwise, regarding kind of investment type funding or public funding or something like that, I would think that it would be interesting if there were kind of like small and quick instruments to do experiments on. Because often kind of people think of like huge projects and over the course of many years, and then it takes 1 year to set it up and big consortium and lots of bureaucracy and all that. Whereas sometimes it seems that even quite useful serious games could be at least like prototype and somehow started with kind of small effort. That, okay, if you get some like 20,000 and spend a couple of months, and it could be really a lot for a development team already, and perhaps then they have even a product to sell or something. So from our point of view, this kind of small and quick, simple, kind of more kind of like risk investments, so that instead of making a huge 5 million thing, you would fund like 100 small things or 10 small things or something like that. Could be interesting. Yeah. So our product is basically for publishing plans for built environment. So the customers and kind of the partners who we work with is usually some kind of project owner who wants the building or the area. It can be hospital or airport or shopping mall or city area or something. And then they have it's usually like a huge group of all kinds of experts then doing the designs, and then the architects, and somebody's planning the traffic, and somebody's thinking of like services for the people and all kinds of things. So one of the purposes of our service is that, that when they have kind of the game world where the plans are, it's all it's like all up to date all the time, so they can like stay on track of the project. That okay, where is it going? So this kind of internal within the professionals is kind of one group, but where kind of where our specialty is and kind of the added value for the customers otherwise is actually that that we can publish the kind of the plans for the world, like for the public, on the web or as mobile applications, and they will really basically target everyone. So anybody who is interested in that area, but usually, of course, people are not so many people are interested in some random area or some random place that somebody is developing. So usually it's people who have something to do with the place, who live in the neighborhood or perhaps consider moving to that place or who work there or something like that. So it's like normal people, but who have some kind of connection to the site that's being developed. Yeah, we try to make it that simple. So I'm kind of thinking of it like mobile games. So like anybody can play Angry Birds. Like you can just one touch, and it doesn't really matter if you're 3 or 80 years old. So we try to keep it as simple, that it's like just one touch, really simple, basic and clear, and we hope that like that it works for everybody. Yeah, we are international, so we delivered for this called Nordic Innovation. They're based in Oslo. That's what we did by the end of last year, and we're also working with some Belgian partners who are coming actually here next week to Oulu. But yeah, so far only within Nordic countries, but hopefully soon also elsewhere in Europe. But yeah, let's see how it goes. Well, at least in our business it is, because the product is like kind of generic. Potentially could be used by like tens of thousands or even millions of customers. And we have some like unique approach and so forth, but there's also a lot of competition, and certainly like in 2 or 3 years there will be also more. So if we would only work locally, then probably someone else would do it globally and better, and then they would come here in 3 years and have something much better than we do. So we would just die. So instead, we try to take over like enough of the world ourselves, so that we can really make like a kind of like a global top product. if we make it to like global top 5 or something, then we are fine. But we can't be local. We just die. Yeah, that's interesting actually. Like technology-wise, it's simple that okay, we just publish on the web and in the mobile app stores. But how we actually like, if thinking of like sales channels, there we try to make it so that that kind of our partners would be selling it. So we actually work with architect studios, so that if they encounter some project with some city or some big company or something, and if they then sell our platform for that project, then they get like a sales commission. And in general, the idea with us is that because there already are these big kind of like design consultant companies, global ones even, they have like one of them is like 40,000 employees and so forth. 14,000. We hope to make it so that yeah, for example, those people would use our product in their projects and kind of sell it that way, and we would just need basically just a software development team, and then these partners would be kind of the channels that sell it to the individual construction sites and so forth. Yeah, for us it's really simple now that we just, in this normal B2B sales, we try to sell it to some city or big or construction company, and then they pay a starting fee. We have now like a fixed price of 15,000 per kind of site, and then they pay like monthly subscription for as long as they want to have it live. And that price includes that we like kind of update it all the time, and it's like a live thing that update the models, or they can update them, and we like update the like the builds that they have with the new versions of the engines and all that. So, but yeah, this like starting fee and subscription is how we sell. Yeah, I'm really interested in this, like this, like how it works in consumer games. That even small payments, if somebody, for example, would like to support some idea, perhaps they could somehow like sponsor it. That might be interesting, or even just advertisement, because it works so well, at least in mobile games. And of course on the web. So it would be interesting to be able to tap into these kind of existing money flows on the net. Yeah, perhaps ads would be somehow possible. Yeah, of course we have to be like kind of visible everywhere, that in sort of like meetings and trade shows and seminars and even conferences, and like many of our customers are really kind of these like experts in the area, and also we need to be able to work with them. So and they need to sort of take us seriously. So and they meet each other in these sometimes even kind of, well, not really academic, but this kind of, how would you call it? They really discuss like the problems of urban development and this kind of seminars. So so we go to those, and then we also have the demo in the phone, and we show it to everybody, and perhaps have some demo booth. And so this kind of like kind of professional visibility is one thing, and then kind of for the end products, especially in the case where it's like published for like big audience, then it's like normal kind of marketing and communications. So for example, now, actually yesterday made a deal with the city of Oulu here to publish plans for the development of the Oulu city center. That should be done now, like by the start of June, and then like, when the city publishes that, then they like send like press releases, and it should be in the news and kind of the normal marketing that way. But it's actually kind of the customer controls that they decide when they want to publish and how they want to announce it. We just kind of give them the application instance. And, yeah, they kind of do a lot of the marketing for the end users.